Devastating and compelling.
Finally get a case of the for reals.
They see homogenous white communities as something horrible.
I'm here to tell you that we are at war.
They bring about white erasure, writing us out of our history.
Long-term happiness is sustained by the thoughts and the actions of the people we are surrounded by.
There were 1,000 generations of people who refused to give up.
What if all people deserve to feel the right to love and respect?
A nation is actually a group of people.
Wake up. You've been asleep too long.
Help them see the reality. Talk about these matters.
We speak of vanishing cultures, as if such vanishing were a natural process.
If you want this, you need to make this.
And we are after hours, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know how you all are doing, but I'm doing fantastic. Very excited about tonight. That was a great promo that we had put together for us. And big hats off to everybody who participated in that. This has been a long time coming. And I even had to put a tie on for it, even though I have a bit of a 5 o'clock shadow going on right now.
I have a bit of an 8:45 shadow then.
Yes, indeed. Well, it's great to have, of course, my friend and colleague and brother, Jared George, and the great, lovely Porridge, the originator of this idea from the very start, bringing Jared in right at the beginning, and both of them doing magnificent work for this competition to put together a magnificent slew, a raft of stupendous videos. Couldn't be prouder of everybody who participated in this, and definitely these two gentlemen before you here today who worked so diligently on this, and all the others who they will be mentioning as we chat here this evening, those who helped with finances, those who worked on the video and websites and the like behind the scenes. So I'm going to go ahead and pass it on over to these two gentlemen, and we'll get to talking about the winners and some of the awards and things like that.
Yes, we will be announcing the winners tonight, the first time publicly. And then after the stream, of course, in the coming days, we'll continue to blast that information out. And we're also having a way to honor, actually all the participants will be honored on this site, as well as the donors. But a note on that, a very important note on that, as much as we cannot say enough how much we appreciate the spontaneous support, and we'll get more into the story behind this, that came up at multiple times throughout this process. Please note, I'm saying at the beginning of this stream, and Parge and I agreed on this, and we'll say it again a few more times. Please, mods, share this in the chat. The prize funds are closed. They are locked. So we are getting the winners their finances. They've already been notified privately. They don't know where they placed, but anyone who's receiving finances for the prizes have been notified, and we've begun the process of securely getting them their funds, which so many of you, your generous contributions greatly raised that treasure chest so that we have now 5 great generous prizes to give out. But it is closed. So please do not, as much as we appreciate this and we love you so much, please do not super chat tonight with an earmark for getting these funds, your funds intended for the winners. The prizes are locked. So that would not be happening if you super chatted something earmarked for a prize. But having said that, I welcome you all. Very exciting evening. And we're going to, well, of course, we have to make this a bit of a show and have it be fun. So we're going to talk a little bit with you all in the chat and take your questions. And as we do so, Porridge and we'll talk to Jason about it, we'll take you through the history of this, and we'll lead up to announcing these winners. But I just want to say, as Jason mentioned, the idea originated in the mind of our friend from down under, from Australia, lovely Porridge here, after a fateful episode of the after party back in May, all the way back in May. And he spoke to me privately after it and said that he had the idea to make a video with this premise that it would be the last message to the West. And then we began to talk about his idea of possibly making it a contest and bringing it public. So Porridge, why don't we begin with that? You have a bit of an outline of how you want to tell this story. So welcome. And it's a fun night. We're celebrating.
Mm-hmm.
We're in party mode. So it's been a roaring success, and we're going to tell you the story of how that it was even more of a success than we could have imagined.
Yeah.
But Porridge, welcome, and why don't you tell us a little bit about, maybe even before you told me your idea, how this came to you and how you conceived of this.
Hello, guys, Jason and Jared. Yeah, thanks for having me back on again, and hello to all the listeners. Really happy here to be here today, and we're closing off what was a really successful project and acknowledging everyone who was involved and all the great work from everyone. And it's come a long way since we first started, as you mentioned when I was talking to you on that stream last time we were live. And we were really pleased with how the community got involved and how big it grew. And so I'm really happy to be here and celebrating with you guys. And yeah, the original concept of the whole project was a bit like an outreach exercise. And to do that, you have to remember that many people have almost no exposure to our message. And so you can't talk to them in the same way we talk to each other. You almost have to start from the beginning. But this is a really important skill for us to develop, because it's essential we get this message out to more of our people and get them on board. So yeah, it had to be a short message. It had to be presented well and somewhat entertaining, but it also had to get across a very serious and important message, which is not an easy thing to do, but I think our guys did a fantastic job of it. And that was the whole idea of Last Message to the West, was to be appealing to the public and get our message out there.
And let me just say quickly that this is what an absolutely magnificent triumph. What a great victory. We're so many negative things in the white positive sphere. There's so much negativity going on around and across the West because of the anti-whites' relentless assault on our people, our civilization, our children. And what is really different here is that in service to white well-being, what we do is we have victories. We succeed. We succeed on the personal level with individuals who have done things as grand as getting off the ultimate path to white flight, which is suicide, to those who are getting in better shape, just eating better, those who have given up cigarette smoking, those who are getting off alcohol, those who have kept themselves out of jail by knowing what to look for when they are potentially talking to law enforcement officers. We have victories here in service to white well-being. We have victories. We were talking about a bunch of them on Sunday, conversations that people had over the holiday. And this is something that Porridge said, hey, in the light, in the passion, in the love of service to white well-being, this is something that we can get together as a community, something that we are doing that has never been done before, building a community. And we'll bring all of these videos forward. We'll make this competition. And more than he could have ever imagined, the community came together, working together exactly as we talk about that being able to happen and to do such a thing. Because of the power of the networking, because of the power of the collaborating, because of the power of being able to speak in this very real digital community around the globe, we have this enormous victory. It's not just a lovely Porridge victory, which is a great victory for him and what he has done for our people here. And Jared, George, and please, let's pause for a moment and get a huge round of raucous emojis and applause for the two folks at the very beginning, lovely Porridge and the Great Order. Let's make sure we acknowledge them for the great work that they have done. We're going to be acknowledging a lot of wonderful people tonight and their contributions to this entire endeavor. But this is also a victory for each one of you out there in our community for White Wellbeing. Whether you voted, whether you watch these videos or not, if you are supporting the service to White Wellbeing in one shape or form, this is a great victory of yours. This is the kind of thing that the anti-whites don't want us to be having. And these are the kind of victories, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, that we can have. Those meaningful victories that can be had out in the I guess the, how can we say, not on the battlefield, but with arms, guns and mortars and things, but the battlefield of ideas, the battlefield of community building. We can have these sorts of victories, and they are the biggest victories that can be had. So while others do things like prattle away about nonsense or spend their days at the range, we are making real things happen, bringing people into this community. So I just want to say, everyone out there, when you give applause to these two gentlemen and to everyone else who participated, whether they contributed their time or their money or whatever it might have been, I want you all to give yourselves a pat on the back and a round of applause for yourselves, because this is a community-wide victory here in service to White Wellbeing. So I'll pass it back.
Yeah, we had no negativity whatsoever. Kind of surprising when you think about it, because originally I thought, well, maybe some people will say that they'll be worried about money's involved, and maybe they'll call us out, or maybe they'll say we're trying to get people's info. But we got none of that whatsoever. Everybody was really positive.
We praised ourselves for that. Yeah, and we will mention later about how there were certain protections against that. Absolutely. But yeah, Jason is not just rattling off platitudes there. This really is. And when you understand the whole story, some of you know some of it, especially if you were here a little more than a month ago with us when Porridge was on in late October, when we had a big setback, which we'll get to, and you all rallied around us, supported us, and we just got on air that night to give you some news about the contest and keep it in front of your mind, because we had a setback, as I mentioned, and it became something so much more than that. But I don't want to get ahead of myself. But you'll see tonight as we tell this story that what Jason said is absolutely true. This reflects something about what we're doing here, this particular subset of this white positive sphere. And I want to acknowledge someone as well, and that would be Mr. Jason Kuna right here, because his leadership by example has made this community possible. All of us are part of it together. And I'm up here with him, but I can tell you, being side by side with him up here, so much of what you're seeing, the positivity, the generosity, the lack of the pitfalls and the negativity that you see in so many other corners of this, it emanates a lot from Jason. So I do acknowledge Jason. We're all in this together, but I can tell you, working with him and being up here with him, it is his mind and his spirit that is reverberating into all of this. And I want to acknowledge that. And I do acknowledge that. In another thing to look out for is the next winter, the fall winter issue of White People's Quarterly from the great Tony Vermont, White People's Press, who's been on this show as well. Although we had some issues with that broadcast. YouTube didn't really seem to like it when he first did his summer issue. I'm going to be writing an article there. That article may appear other places as well, honoring this very project, this whole thing. So not only tonight, this broadcast, if you're watching in replay, it'll be an archive of what happened and the story behind, Porridge's great idea and how this all came to be. But it will also be commemorated in perhaps several articles, but at least I can confirm it will be in the next issue of White People's Quarterly. Definitely check it out at White People Press, no plural there, .com, and follow White People's Press on Twitter. We'll share some links, and Tony's magazine will be coming out soon. They're going to press soon, and I'm just going to get them the winner's name. So I think that's literally one of the last things he's waiting on before going to press is finishing this article. I wrote a draft already, but we have to pop in the winners' names and the final details. But a lot of exciting stuff going on. But I should just mention a couple more things. Oliver from Semi-Agog, who was one of the participants and made a video for this, a great video for this. He was going to do an Ask Me Anything stream, and I actually told him he didn't realize we were doing this tonight at 9:30 Eastern US. So he is holding off on that, and he's not going live on his channel until 11 US. So if some of you are going to be up late after you watch this, please do go watch Oliver. He's a great mind, very interesting guy, and he's going to be doing a fun Ask Me Anything at 11. And again, if you're just tuning in, no, as much as we appreciate it, no more super chats earmarked for prizes. The prize fund is closed. And I will also say one more thing before handing it off to Porridge and talking a little more about bringing you all through the history. I see, and we love this, I see new faces in the chat. I saw someone I think named White Wolf say that is his first time here. He had recently discovered No White Guilt's channel. So we give you a hearty welcome. And hopefully the story of this contest, this is a bit of a different show tonight where we're taking stock of a contest that Porridge here, our friend, he conceived, and he got me to help organize a video contest called Last Message to the West. Hopefully the story of this will show you just what corner of the internet you ended up on and what is a little different about what we're doing here. But Porridge, to get back to that fateful day in May when you pitched this idea to me and I said, all right, let's explore this. It is very prescient because just a couple of weeks later, on June 5th, there was the infamous Vox adpocalypse, and some channels were demonetized. Some channels had certain videos taken down. Some channels were completely annihilated by YouTube, and mine actually fell into the latter. My first channel, The Great Order, was obliterated by YouTube with no warning. No strikes were on record at the time for severe and repeated hate speech violations. Now, if you go to my site, thegreatorder.com, or the site for the media Jason and I do together, the afterparty.tv, go check out my content and tell me what a hateful guy I am. It's a joke. And now we're on the verge of this possible purge on December 10th. So your concept, Porridge, was fitting for this year because the whole point of the contest, the whole point of the thought experiment, I should say, behind the videos was, what if you had one last short video to convince more of our people what is at stake right now at this point in our history? But you knew that this video would be played to millions of people around the world, in sports stadia, in airport terminals, in big commercial breaks, maybe a Super Bowl commercial, something like that. That was the thought experiment. But it's pretty amazing to me, Porridge, when we reflect on this, that you pitched this and we started the early phases of organizing it and talking about it just, I don't know, what was it, maybe 2 or 3 weeks before the June 5th Vox adpocalypse?
Yeah, it was it was both bad, but it's kind of good we got started on it when we did. If we had left it much longer, it probably would have been a lot harder. And we don't know where we're all going to be in a few months' time, whether we will have this platform that we're speaking on right now. And yes, you were one of the people who were banned after the competition was announced. So the whole idea is us being able to speak to the general public. We can go on BitChute and say whatever we want, but having YouTube is a great tool we could use, and that is being taken away from us. It's almost gone at the moment. And so, yeah, this competition was very relevant to what was happening around us at the time. And I think what's crazy about all of this with the censorship was that the whole idea was to be as mainstream as possible and as inoffensive, because we were targeting the general public. And I mistakenly thought that would make us reasonably safe on YouTube. But we've got to realize now that there is nothing we can do. As long as we are saying a white positive message, there is no way we can protect ourselves and be within the community guidelines, because all of us really, really want to be within the rules of YouTube. We're probably the only people actually read it and say, oh, okay, I'll be careful here and I'll be careful there. And we beg these people, just tell us the rules, just tell us how we can not get banned, and we'll do whatever we can. We'll work around it. We might not like it, but we'll do what we can. But we have to realize that is not going to keep us safe anymore. And none of us are. So, yeah.
Right. All right. So let's bring them into how we began this. We knew we wanted to get a few people who were recognized to kind of kickstart us and be our pioneer people. You made, now Porridge, if you go to the Last Message to the West site, which is lastmessagetothewest.com, and the dedicated BitChute channel, Kindred Creators, you can see all the promos Porridge did. So he came up with the aesthetic and this kind of fun, kitschy way of doing the promo videos. And so the very first one that you did we mentioned a few people who would be involved, including our own Jason Kuna right here of No White Guilt, and a few others.
Yeah, so the first step was to make that little promo video and share it privately with a bunch of people and ask, could they put their name to it? Could they support it? And I think Jason was one of the first ones who kindly agreed to do that. And that was really important. So before we announced the competition, we got their credibility, thinking that it would encourage others to join once they saw those good names. And it seemed to work. So we were really thankful for those first 6 people, including yourself, Jason, because they got involved before there was any indication whether this was going to be a success or not. And I think they played a big part in making it a success.
And let me just very quickly, just jump in and say a big thank you to Althea, who I partnered with on making the video that I submitted. So thank you, Althea.
Yes, absolutely. And the other people besides Jason, who were those initial Pioneer 6, were Poseidon, who it looks like he's in the audience tonight. Liv Heide of whitedate.net, who's been on the show several times. Mimirs Bruner, Semiagog, who I mentioned earlier, and Martin Willett, who had a very active, well-known account on Twitter. It looks like he's really known on Gab now, but he is a little bit older than us. I think kind of middle-aged gentleman from England, and he made a wonderful video as well. He's got a great voice for narration. He was making videos, and I believe Porridge, I hope it's not too much to say that he wasn't making videos for a little while, and perhaps this contest and being active in it helped reignite his desire to make videos, and he said he wants to make some new ones. Yeah,
he said something along the lines of that he got a sudden burst of subscribers, and it gave him some motivation to really get back into it. And we're glad that he is, because he makes incredibly good content.
Yeah, we offered a $200 initial prize. So keep that in mind as we go through this. $200 for a winner. Somebody jokingly commented on Porridge's announcement video. It's like, well, we know you guys aren't funded by Soros. We thought, hey, who doesn't want $200 US? Who doesn't want that? I mean, that's still, you might get that as a nice gift at a wedding. If you go to a wedding, maybe give the bride and groom $200, cover your seat at a nice wedding. So that's nothing to sneeze at. And now at holiday time, that might help you with your Christmas shopping. So we thought, hey, that's a nice prize.
Yeah, it was a bit tongue in cheek, and we couldn't offer much, so we said we'll give some honourable mentions as well, and we'll still give those out. But I think if it had stayed that amount, we still would have had great participation because our people are really good. But it was great that the prizes eventually increased because it allowed us to hype it up and to create more buzz around it and make announcement videos. But it all started out with a humble $200.
Yeah. And what were your expectations, Porridge, for what were you hoping would be a good turnout in terms of how many people actually submitted videos?
Oh, well, I'm not going to lie and say I wasn't a little bit stressed about how many people would enter, because it's a fairly big ask to get people to create a video. You know how a simple video can take easily 8 hours to make. So
these parameters too.
Yeah. We kind of just had to wait and hope. And most of them came almost at the last minute. And I was thinking, oh, please just make it a nice round 10 and I'll be happy. And we did hit that 10, and then I was relieved of the stress. I thought anything now would be a bonus. But they just kept coming in. And I remember you and I, Jared, were really pumped up because, it hit 15, then it hit 20. Oh, brilliant. And then it hit 25, still coming in. And finally we hit 29, and we really didn't expect that. I really didn't believe that many people would get involved. I didn't think it was possible. But yeah, that was really one of the most encouraging things I've experienced in our movement. All these talented creators spending hundreds of hours of their own time because they believed in the idea.
Yeah, no, and again, that 29 skips a bit ahead because we set a deadline of October 15th. So we announced it in the summer, but the deadline was October 15th. And as Porridge just said, a lot of those rolled in towards the end. but to take you kind of somewhat chronologically through it. So in the summer, we made this announcement, and then one of the first big boons, and this just speaks to a theme that came up a lot in this, is once you commit to something, and remember this, folks, once you commit to something and you say, I'm going to do this, and Porridge and I, we didn't have everything figured out. I mean, we're both pretty well-organized guys, and we trusted ourselves to that extent, but we didn't know, as he was saying, how many people would participate, what kind of pitfalls might come up. Nothing in life is guaranteed. But when you have that commitment and you say, I'm going to do this no matter what, this is the deadline, I'm showing up, magically other people come out of the woodwork and start helping you. Not only all the great people who participated in the way of videos, but all the donors. And the guy who kicked it off and was a big part of this is a gentleman who goes by the moniker Lord of the Frogs on Twitter. And we have to give a lot of thanks and respect and accolades to him because he helped on two fronts. First of all, he gave an incredibly generous donation of $300. He was the first person, and again, we never asked for a dime. We never did fundraising. We never said, hey, we have the initial 200, but we'd love it to be more. Nothing about money. He, out of the blue, on his own accord, saw the potential in the idea, gave $300 and said, I want to kickstart this. Hopefully people will give some more. And by the way, I know Laura Towler, I know Woes, I'm in the community. We checked him out. Everything checked out. I know web design. I know the tech end. I'd like to contribute by making a website. And Porridge and I thought maybe we would just use one of these surveys that, like a survey service. But as we get towards a little later on, we'll tell you what he did with the site, but he made it so much more than that. But he also said, I want to design the site. He offered his services that way. So that really was another big boon during the summer as well.
Yeah, I was just thinking then that the logo I originally made for Kindred Creators had a chain in the background, and it really suits it now because I think as everybody was so crucial, everybody was a link in the chain, and we didn't have any time to spare. We're both busy guys, and Lord of the Frogs stepped in, and he did a lot of work. I can't imagine how out of our mind and with stress we would have been if he wasn't there to do the things like making the site and doing the polling and all the work that he did. So it's funny how fate just worked out, and this guy just suddenly contacts us and says, I've got all this money to give, and I've also got all this time I'm going to spend to help make this project successful. We really lucked out there, didn't we?
Yeah, very much so. Very much so. It would have been crazy because I was designing in the fall. I was designing the Tap TV site, and we were like, well, we could do a simple site, but everything was kind of happening at once in the fall. This was an incredibly busy autumn. So I'm very glad that Lord of the Frogs stepped up. But then it started that chain reaction, and we had a couple of people initially step up. Some of them are anonymous. So I think was one a friend of the cause said they wanted to be credited as a friend of the cause.
We have some people with their tags. Other people just identified as anonymous people. Should we read out the donor list now?
Yeah, I guess so. Since we're mentioning, there were a few waves of donors. There were a couple of more donors in the summer that followed Frog's example, and then there were a couple of more in the fall when we did a big stream catching people up about a month ago, and we'll tell you a little more about that in a few minutes. And then at the last minute, I guess we'll start with the last one first. Last week on the Thanksgiving stream, Roy Danton from our own community here out of nowhere gave $500 additional to raise the prize funds. But beyond that, there was, as I said, a friend of the cause, another Tap viewer. Then we had our own Raymond and Heidi, who were here with us and always modding in big parts of the community. We're very grateful for you guys. Marcus Tullius Cicero, LG, Johnny Boomer, cultural oncologist, another one who is very active here and in the chat, as well as Corey, who is here in the chat and on Twitter. And we think that's everybody. If we missed you, we definitely are sorry, and we'll make up for that, because I will tell you this, and I know we're skipping around a little bit, forgive me, but we still have some things to do on the site, and one of those is going to be we're going to have an acknowledgement area for the people who donated. So if we did happen to miss you, you'll be there on the site, and all the people that I just mentioned, unless you don't want to be, of course, please let us know. But we'll have a section to honor these donors on the site as well.
Yeah, in the coming few days, if you've participated or if you've donated and been involved in any way, head over to the site, and yeah, we'll have something up there to show our appreciation and give out some certificates on that site. We don't have direct contact with everybody, and we're all on different platforms. They're all banned from different platforms. So to make it easier, we'll just tell them to go to the site.
Exactly. I'm just trying to get over on D-Live now because I realize I haven't said hello to them. But of course, you can watch on the afterparty.tv on the Watch Live Now page. And please remember, we don't know what's going to happen December 10th, but regardless of what happens, whether we wake up on December 10th and all of our channels are gone or they're all still there, it's wise for us to be in direct contact with each other. It's much better to start using our site, the afterparty.tv. So please do watch when we're live there. We have entropy embedded and we're working out the kinks. Give us some feedback. I don't know if it's quite working on mobile, but let us know how it's working for you on different desktop versions. And also please sign up for our newsletter, the Keep in Touch tab. That'll get Jason and I directly in touch with you. We haven't sent out a mailing yet, but Jason, I think maybe in the coming days we should send out a test to get people used to that. But check that out. And please remember that there is a confirmation email. Sometimes that goes to the spam folder, but you do have to opt in. Certain European countries, it's actually mandatory. It's legally mandatory that you get that opt-in email to avoid spam. So we have a lot of people who are friends around the world, and that's why that's there. But anyway, so are we getting now into the fall? Are we missing anything from the summer, Porridge? Or are we getting now closer in our story of the how the deadline?
I don't know what season it is over there. It's summer here.
Oh, right. That's another thing.
This is a global thing, ladies. Yeah. And I will quickly jump in. Think about all of these folks out there, ladies and gentlemen. Think about all of these folks out there that pour wormwood on the work that we're doing, the community building, the art, the having the dialectics, the lexicon, all of these people that say, well, you're not really doing anything because X, Y, or Z. By talking about love, you're not really doing it. You got to focus on this group here or that group there. You're not really accomplishing anything. Look at what we've accomplished here. And this is what a prediction I'm going to make, and I'm going to pass it right over back to Porridge for his answer to what Jared was asking. And that is this. They're going to say now, all of these naysayers out there that want to say, oh, you're not really doing something real. You know, you're only doing something real if it's with tiki torches or if it's with using the slanders of yesteryear or whatever it might be, or if you're planning for some apocalyptic futurist scenario. All these people are going to say, okay, yeah, you pulled together on this competition, and it just got bigger and bigger and bigger because all these people decided to get involved, and it came out to it being like a 4th of July, Independence Day, fireworks going off, big band playing in the background, success. Yeah, but that's really nothing. Know this, they're going to say that about every victory we have all the way up. Yeah. Okay, yeah, you got 10,000 people to get together in one location and celebrate White Wellbeing on 3 different continents. But that you've really done nothing. Yeah, okay, yeah, but you have 1 million people who are participating in service to White Wellbeing now. So there's always going to be but you really didn't accomplish. They can all just piss right off. This is going to be victory after victory, and it's because we're all coming together. Every single person is valuable. Every single person is contributing. Every single person is a participant here. We're all on the field, and we are going to carry this from where we are in this context today to that destiny of ours in the future. So I want to say this because we're going to hear the naysayers coming out saying, yeah, but it was just a competition that you all did. It wasn't really anything like us when we pedantically prattle hour after hour after hour after hour. It's not really successful like that. Yeah, okay, buddy. So just know this, there's going to be more of these, yeah, but it really wasn't much forever, until we finally recapture our destiny. And then these losers, we can just maybe invite them to leave our countries. But I'll pass it over to Porridge now for his answer to Jared.
Yeah, forget the season part, Porridge. I will say are we now in roughly the chronological part of this story? We're getting into September and October.
Well, I think
there down in Australia.
Are we getting towards the part where a dent was kind of put in our progress when the channel got deleted?
Keep in mind, folks, Porridge created a dedicated channel called Kindred Creators for the contest on YouTube and BitChute. So why don't you tell them what happened then, right after the deadline hit and all 29 entries were in by October 15th?
Yeah, well, of course we didn't receive a single strike, and we had already uploaded all 29 videos, and we had them programmed to premiere.
They were private.
They were private, yeah. And after the first 3 videos were premiered, the channel was shut down straight after that. So I learned one thing from this project, and that is to never rely on YouTube. We should have focused on BitChute and promoted everything on that, but oh well. But yeah, what I wanted to say about that also was that these videos were private, and we were getting messages to say that your video had been flagged by a member of the community. And after reviewing that, they put it in limited state or in an age restriction. Now, if they were private, who were flagging them?
Mm-hmm.
And some people have said, oh, it was probably bots. But that can't be right, because these videos were mirrors and they were already on other people's channels. And I've also uploaded them since, all again on a new channel named Kind Creators. You can find that on YouTube. It will probably get banned, but it's there for now anyway. And these videos are not getting attacked on the same platform on YouTube, just on different channels. So I think it's obvious that some anti-white group is targeting us.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't want this to get off the ground, and they just had to wait until we made those first 3 videos public to delete the whole channel. So they're keeping a close eye on us, and I guess we can take that as a good sign that they saw the potential of the competition. They thought it would be effective, and they saw it as a threat, and so they shut it down.
Yeah, now to give a little more context to that, in terms of embedding videos on the site, lastmessagetothewest.com, keep in mind at this point in mid-October, once the deadline passed and all the videos were submitted, we had not publicly announced the URL. So none of you all out there knew lastmessagetothewest.com. You only were getting updates from Porridge's promo videos on the Kindred Creators channel. We'd, of course, then share them on social media. I also had a few posts on my site, my own site, thegreatorder.com, to coincide with Porridge's updates. And we should just briefly mention, we did have certain parameters there. Some of them were rules to make sure that we didn't put ourselves at risk or the other creators at risk that were involved in this. And while we knew this material wouldn't last forever on YouTube, we were hoping to at least use YouTube for a little while to promote this. And so we had some guidelines that wouldn't flagrantly and ridiculously violate their terms of service. So there was a post we directed people to on my site. If you go to thegreatorder.com and type in the search "Last Message to the West," you'll get, I don't know what it is, the 3 posts if you really want to geek out on this and see the trajectory of this. But there were some suggestions there as well for the videos. They weren't requirements, but they were just some things that we put in there. And one of them was some suggestions to avoid infighting. So if you partake in a certain subculture of the white positive sphere, we're not saying you can't mention it, but to please mention it in the context of our wider planet-wide struggle, and to try to invoke a sense of unity. And while we, of course, want to realistically acknowledge the crisis that we're in, we also asked content creators to think about a message that, towards the end of it, wraps up something where there's hope and there's action and there's a way forward, invoking that. So both unity and a positive way forward. So I wanted to mention that too. But getting back to what Porridge was just saying, we had always intended for the lastmessagetothewest.com site where people would vote. Once we unveiled that, those videos would be embedded on BitChute. So we were never, ever going to trust YouTube that way. BitChute was always the plan, and that's what you'll see if you go to the site now. But what Porridge was just saying is that we were going to use premiere about 3 a day on the YouTube channel, Kindred Creators, so that people could anticipate those and then digest them. And they would kind of be in their minds before, and some of you out there would get to see the videos and have a once over with them before we announce the site. And you go watch it again, because some of these videos really do bear repeat watching. They're good when you see them a couple of times. We wanted to give people time, and we wanted to make it a fun event and to just have it roll out in a couple of phases. So we were going to do a couple of weeks of these premieres where there were 3 premiered a day, and we set it all up. Even that, you don't realize, but it takes a few hours to do that, to set up all the descriptions, to set up all the times and dates that everything's going to premiere. Of course, we were going to use other social media like Twitter and Gab each day to say, hey, these are the 3 coming out today, and do it like that. So kind of do a drip feed of the videos. And that would give us some time to work on the site, because Frogs was still working on the site, and that wasn't going to be ready until early November. So that was the plan. But funny enough, everything changed on Friday, October 18th. Coincidentally or not, that was the day after, all of you, for doing this history, that Red Ice had their channel deleted, their main channel deleted. And it was only about a week later or so, a week and a half later, that their secondary channel was deleted. So Red Ice, Thursday the 17th, we premiered our videos, first 3 that day. Next day, Kindred Creators channel's gone. So that threw everything into a tailspin, and we didn't want to lose momentum. So that Tuesday, we got on, just like we're on tonight, on After Hours, because Jason and I just announced just before that, we actually used that day, Friday the 18th, because of that crazy situation, to say we can't hold off on our side any longer. People need to know what our side is. So we did a stream that night. We announced the afterparty.tv, and we wanted to start doing Tuesday night shows as kind of a check-in with people. We want to be doing more programming. So Porridge comes on a few days later after that Friday deletion on the Tuesday. And we just want to, this is what I was referencing earlier in tonight's stream, we just wanted to let people know what was going on. And we didn't want to lose the momentum, because we figured those premieres were going to keep people interested for the next couple of weeks as we were getting the site ready. And then we lost that. That was taken away all of a sudden. And we're like, oh man, we don't want to lose momentum. We feel a great responsibility to the content creators and the people who were donors. We have their money. We can't let this fizzle out. We can't have there be a month between certain, milestones in this, so that people lose their enthusiasm. So we got on, and we're just telling things about the contest, kind of like we're doing now, and giving people an update. And that fateful night, we got another $400-something. So this is when I was mentioning people like Ray and Heidi, and cultural oncologist Corey, and Marcus Tullius Cicero. I think those were the 4 that night. It was total to something more than $400. So that was another tremendous boon. And we were very, very heartened by that. That was a big turning point for us in this whole process. And one of the key moments, I think, that stream, because again, it was spontaneous. We didn't get on as a fundraiser. We didn't get on with a sob story. We didn't get on and say, this bad thing happened, please give us money. You guys just said, no, F these people. We're going to make this a bigger and better contest than you could ever imagine. And here's another, we're going to double all the prizes here. And there were people who were earmarking the prizes. By the way, as I said earlier, we love you, but the prize fund is closed. So please do not super chat tonight, adding to the prize. It's all done. But some people were earmarking them and saying, I want there to be a 3rd prize. I want there to be a 4th prize. And it was like, well, I want to double the 2nd prize. They were all one-upping each other. It was an amazing thing to behold.
Yeah, whatever YouTube tried to do to us, and however much frustration that caused, it was nothing compared to how exhilarating it was to have all this support just suddenly flood in on that stream. And these people were just way too generous. I was a little bit, embarrassed about it, because I was thinking, oh, gee, I hope they're not going to put themselves in a bad situation financially for Christmas, because they were giving so much. Really, really generous people, and that really gave us motivation to make this successful. And 100% of that money is going to the people who created content and the people who you guys voted for. So we don't get any of that. That's going to go to the very well-deserving content creators and hopefully motivate them as well to do more good work.
And Jason carved a statue of gold here tonight just for this. Jason, you always have the right accessories and the right things hanging on your wall.
I don't know about that, but I'm so proud of everybody in our community. What a great victory this is for us, the symbolic victory, a victory we can actually have, things we can actually pull together and do and have tangible things. We're making it happen every day. I couldn't be happier. So please, let's continue with the narrative of how it continued to come together, because that's really the real story about this, is how folks came together from all over planet Earth and made this competition come together as something truly beyond even Porridge's original vision when this first came to mind. So I'm as excited as ever. And ladies and gentlemen, I do not know who the winner is either, or the winners are. So I am listening to this tale along with all the rest of you, as excited as the rest of you here.
Well, shall we kick it off then and maybe get to it?
Yeah, I think we're at about that point. I just want to say, for the sake of the story, after that stream that we were just talking about, where we got those amazing spontaneous donations, then it kind of held us off for a little while. We were able to announce lastmessagetothewest.com in November, that, again, Lord of the Frogs so generously made. We should just mention, I don't want to stop the momentum of the winners, announcing the winners, and I know you're all waiting for this, but Frogs was very innovative in the way that he set up the security so that there wouldn't be bot voting, because that would have really screwed us up. And also the way where he created his own algorithm. This is why it's great to have a programmer and not someone like me that just kind of knows how to do it, modular, make a website, but I don't know the back end under the hood stuff. He's a real tried and true programmer. So he made an algorithm where, and we told people this, where the more videos you voted on, the more each of your votes counted. So what we wanted to avoid was just one content creator saying, all of my followers just go vote on my video, and all these people just voting on one video, and that skewing things. We wanted where if you took the time to watch all 29 videos, then your vote would carry a little more weight than if you just voted on one video and ignored the other 28. So he really came up with some innovative ways. Obviously, it was good to have him involved too, because we didn't think of it this way, but I speak to at least the name content creators in this, doing this show, and the after party shows and the after party universe here. Technically, you're watching After Hours right now. It's a little more laid back and informal, but Frog's presence provided a little distance too, which I think is good. We were, Porridge and I were extremely aware, as we were saying earlier, of being fair about this and not having there be, one iota of anything that could be taken the wrong way, because we have a tremendous amount of trust where people are putting in time to make these videos, giving us money to then, they're trusting us with this money to then give to these content creators. And we needed to have it be all on the up and up, as you would expect from us. But, maybe people who are newer to us and don't know us, we had to have a methodology to that as well. And Frogs' presence was a great a boon to that, a happy surprise that he showed up, and he, the way that he made the website and just his very presence offered a little distance. And, I did not comment, again, because of my position being up here and being on tap, hosting tap with Jason and speaking to a lot of the people who are in this, and even Jason being in the contest. I did not comment on any of the videos. I did not say, oh, I really like this one. I didn't say anything publicly. I actually didn't communicate privately with the people. I didn't communicate with Mimir's Bruner or Poseidon on the side and say, hey, bro, I really like your video. I hope you win. I gave you the most stars. Nothing of the sort. Porridge and I, we were zip-lipped about this contest with the actual people that participated in it. We tried to give that distance.
Yeah. We congratulated everybody on their great work for their videos, but we never said that this one should be a winner or I'm counting on you to win or anything. So yeah, it was good to have Lord of the Frogs. He did all this kind of in a neutral way, and so yeah, we didn't even know who won until last night, I think it was.
Yeah, that's true. So that's a little bit of history as we're dangling this in front of you for just another minute. Yeah, we didn't know either. It was daytime, my time. Of course, Australia, you're in Australia, so it was nighttime for you. But we didn't even know. We literally were on a Telegram message with Frogs, and he did the calculations, and he showed us as they came up what they were. So we just learned of this yesterday as well, and then started communicating with some of the people. They don't know where they placed, but we started communicating with the winners, as I said earlier, just to get their how they want the monies transferred to them and start that process. But they don't even know where they are. The 5 people who placed just know that they placed. So that's all they know right now. And do we have Porridge? I see you sent something on the side here. Are those all 29? Seems like we need some more because we wanted to quickly read all the names just to give.
Yes. Well, for some reason, sorry about that. Would you like me to just read out all the participants?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We
just want to say and acknowledge all of them before we get to the places.
Yeah. We had Martin Willett, Way of the World, Kokuyu Nut, Semiagog, Going Free, Asor Manati, No White Guilt, Captain Hornpipe, Harden Volk Network, Asher Logos, Gerard Testegen, Shockadelic, Poseidon, Snow Shadow RPG, Final Blossom, Mimers Brunner, Phoenix Fire, Generation Z Resistance Movement, Daughter of Albion, White Art Collective, Saber X, Edward the Great, Liv Hyde, Intellectual Embargo, Ruination Media, Mel Bear, Zirius and Brumman, Richard Warren, and SS2. That was all 29, and they were all fantastic, a great range of different styles. That was what really wowed me, that I was kind of expecting in my mind that everybody would just have this kind of formula of speaking about the message. Oh, this is what's happening, white man, and this is where we're going to end up. But no, they were very creative about how they did it. And there was so many range of styles and different creative ways of getting the message across, which was fantastic.
Mm-hmm. All right. So we are going to, as we talked about, we are going to discuss some honorable mentions because we did have a mixture of name content creators and new people, newcomers.
Should we do that after?
We're going to do that after. I'm saying we're going to do that after. We're going to discuss a little bit because Porridge and I want to highlight some pieces that we liked, and everyone really contributed, as Porridge was saying, and brought something to the table. But we do still have some names here that are in the places. So after we talk to the winners and the people who did, or talk about the winners and the people who placed, we are going to talk about some honorable mentions and highlight some things that we like too. But yeah, I think it is time to announce the winners. So we're going to start with the 5th place because, again, the generous donors made it go from 1 winner to 5. Certain people requested, we want a 4th place. We want a 5th place. So we're going to start with 5th, and then we're going to work our way up to 1. And I believe you're going to start with 5th place, Porridge.
All right, let's get into it. Let's announce the prize winners.
We need a drum roll, right? Everyone, imagine a drum roll. We don't have the highest production value. I don't have a button in front of me with sound effects. Yeah. But imagine a drum roll.
All right, here we go then. In number 5th place, this was a fantastic video. It was done right from the heart, and it was really to the point as well. It explained perfectly what people need to know in a beautiful voice. 5th place prize goes to Daughter of Albion.
All right.
Well done.
Congratulations.
For her video, Which Way, White Man?
That's good.
And I'm going to do 4th place, and that would be How the West Ends by Way of the World. Way of the World, a name
Congratulations.
everybody knows. Always a very high production value and quality with Way of the World.
Yes, I think we all had an inkling that he might place in this competition, and he was also one of the first people to actually give us an entry, which was great too, because everybody saw on his channel that this was an entry to Last Message to the West, and no doubt that would have helped to get us more promotion. So thank you to Way of the World. We're very happy you've won.
Yes, that's true. I was about to say the same. He was a big name that came. He wasn't in the Pioneer 6, but he was the first big one after that, and that really helped get the ball rolling as well.
Yeah. And Jared, just while I'm announcing the third place, can we find out what the prize amounts are? Because, I mean, we've had so many donations, I've lost track of how much each person gets.
Yes. So each of the website actually has to be updated because of Roy's recent donation, his beautiful recent donation. But each of the two places that we just mentioned, so Daughter of Albion and Way of the World, they'll be getting $200 US. And we apologize if our currency is a little weaker than yours right now, but it'll still be a nice amount.
Yep. So number 3, this was a video I thought was absolutely excellent from a big name, very popular in our movement. And it was one of those things with a really exhilarating music and makes you really enthusiastic about what's happening and a really powerful message. In third place, it's Mimers Brunner.
Yes.
And I hope I pronounced that right.
One of our pioneers, and that would be $300 US. $300 US because of your generous donations.
Wow.
Yeah, I feel like I'm on a telethon because of your generous donations. All right, so I'm going to do second place so that Porridge will be in position to announce first. It's only fair because this was Porridge's initial idea, and I said,
well, wait, before you, Jared, before you mention, folks, place your bets right now. Who was second place? What name is Jared about to say?
Do we have a side betting thing going on here?
Friendly bets, friendly
I
wagers.
wasn't watching the chat. I wasn't watching the chat for a little while.
Write the name in the chat of who you think is second place.
Well, let's see. As I was saying, I wanted Porridge to announce first, as I was saying, because he conceived the idea and he will be doing so. So I'm going to do second. And I'm going to put it right in the chat because he's in the chat. It's Poseidon, ladies and gentlemen.
All right.
Yay. And Poseidon wins $400 US.
Wow.
And a brilliant video from him as well.
Let me just get this in here. Poseidon.
Yeah, well, and I have the names too because some people just named it Last Message to the West, and some people they gave an actual name to it. His was called Last Message to the West. Mimers Brunner was Come Home. So now we have the big drum roll because Porridge is going to tell us first place.
Well done to everybody who has placed so far. There were so many fantastic entries. I had real trouble thinking about who could win, but it is a big name and a brilliant content creator. And this video had a right balance of having all the good information, but also having music behind it and being really motivational. And that first place winner.
Porridge, really quickly, say the dollar amount before you announce the name. So we know how much this person is going to receive. So proceed with what you're saying about.
I think you need to do that. I've been keeping the accounting. $700 US because of how selfless and generous and forward-thinking this community is. $700 US.
And I think everybody will be happy where this money's going, knowing that this is a great channel and is well deserving of the prize. And that first place of $700 goes to Asher Logos. Well done.
Asher's going to be on this channel at some point. Yeah, we've been talking, and He's actually the only American there. Look at that.
All right.
This is really dominated by Europe. 3 from the UK. 3 from the UK. Daughter of Albion, Way of the World, Mimir's Brunner. And then Poseidon representing the continent. Poseidon, the Greek god living in Greece, of both Greek and German heritage. So he's well representing the continent there, the old continent. And then Asha Logos representing the New World, the US. But as I said, we do have, so big congratulations to all of those. Again, they all know they placed. They did not know where they placed until we made this announcement now. And we are working with them to get them that prize money. They will have certificates sent to them as well. Porridge actually made up these great, he did the graphic design on these great, they look like degrees or something with our signatures on them, all official looking, that they were in this contest and that they won whatever their amount was. Those will also be listed on the website. And then every participant is going to get a certificate to acknowledge that they were part of this. It's something that they can look back to and remember, and is a proof that they did this, that they were involved in this. And that was all Porridge. Porridge had that idea. I'm glad you did that.
Yeah, just a little way of showing we appreciate you, and along with the donors as well. We'll put all that on the site and have little certificates. You can either print one out if you want to put that up on your wall, or just have it in your folder and know that you're part of something, which I think was the first ever competition for nationalists to create a video. Now, White Art Collective has done one since, and that was a more creative style, but I could say probably at least that this was the first one where we got together to make something that would be appealing to the public. And yeah, I think that this would probably have been the first one in human history. So if not, I'm going to claim that anyway.
We're claiming it until otherwise proven wrong.
Yeah. If you can find somebody else who did this before us, I'll take that back. But no, this was maybe the first of its kind, and I think also a huge success. It will be hard to equal that kind of support, I think, if another group did do it. Somebody huge would have to do it, like Jared Taylor maybe. But yeah, we really appreciate all the support.
Speaking of which, Liv Haida from Germany, whitedate.net, who is a great participant and one of our pioneer original 6 that got the ball rolling, she wrote an article for American Renaissance that actually referenced this very contest.
That's right.
It has been mentioned on American Renaissance. As I said before, maybe you didn't catch it in the beginning, I'm doing an article about this for White People's Quarterly, the fall-winter issue. It'll be coming out. That article may appear elsewhere as well. So this is going to be well documented. You know, we didn't just put up a website and say, okay, now we got money. We're going to give you guys, you won, here's your money. And then it kind of fades into memory. This is going to be well documented in several articles. The website's going to stay up. The whole point, we should say, and this is not, a liberal, everybody gets a trophy kind of thing, but in reality, there's a lot of quality content there, regardless of who the winners were. Of course, the winners and the prize announcements of what we just did, it makes it fun, and it got some publicity that way. But the main thing we wanted, and what Porridge really, his vision to me, when you came to me, Porridge, and please add anything you'd like to, if you have anything to add after I say this, but it's simply that we'll have a library there. You go to lastmessagetothewest.com and you can pick a video you feel would hit your aunt the right way. They say aunt parts of the country, but I'm from a part of the country where we say aunt. So it'll hit your aunt or your aunt the right way. It'll hit your friend the right way. And you can, like I have some that I know would hit certain friends or family members the right way. And it's there as a resource to use. And as we said, the winners and the donors and all the participants will be noted there. There'll be certificates, there'll be letters. So we're trying to do as much as we can, even in this digital age, to make this something substantial, and it's something that's going to last and stay there.
That's right, because at the end of the day, this isn't about us at all. It's not about what we like, because I like listening to your streams that talk about how we as a movement can become more effective. But that's not going to really work for somebody in the general public. There's other videos that you guys both make that do that. But a lot of us on the right wing, we love really long streams, and we love things being discussed in detail and all that. But if we were to focus only on that, would be missing out on getting a lot of new people on board. So this competition was all about that aunt, like you said, or an uncle or your family. And people have often said, I want to tell people about this stuff. I'm not sure it would be a good video to start them off. It's going to be very simple now. All we'll have to say is go to lastmessagetothe.com, have a look through there, find one you like, and send it along to them. That's much easier than having have to go through YouTube and watch a ton of stuff to find something that's on point. So I think we've made it a lot easier. And people are always welcome to do I wouldn't call it an entry, but to use this thought experiment and try it yourself. If you've missed out and you think, boy, I wish I had been involved, you can still get involved and make a video as though it would be the one you could show everybody. That's what it's all about, the general public.
Yeah. Again, for anyone joining late, the thought experiment was you have one last video before you're banned and censored, about 5 minutes, somewhere a little longer. That was okay. But we tried to keep it around 5 minutes or so, under 10. And you knew it would be played to a large audience around the world, but especially our people, of course, and our people who they may be open to our ideas, but they're hesitant or they don't know where to turn. You know, as Porridge was saying, what we discuss on the streams is more what's underneath the iceberg, but this is sending that information up to the tip of the iceberg, the stuff that people see. And how do you condense all of that? All of these things that we know about, how do you condense it into a presentation that has enough intellectual weight, but it's not too heady, and it's not too esoteric, and it's combined with visuals, maybe music, so that there's the emotional appeal, and you can get past or start to break down the programming and the propaganda they've gotten from the regime, that they've gotten from the mainstream, that are so harmful to our people, and maybe open up the eyes of some friends and family and start them on a road to healing. That's what this is all about. And we had all these videos contribute in that way. So truly, they all are valuable, and we all thank all the creators that did this, and we're glad that we now have this library. And again, we thank Lord of the Frogs for the great, very simple, clean, easy site that he made so that this will now live there as a library.
Yeah, you might know somebody who loves poetry, and so we've got a video for that. Snow Shadow's got one. You might know somebody who's more of a character and who likes a bit of comedy. We have videos like that with White Art Collective, and different video for different people, and that's the point. That's how it worked out in the end. Should we start giving out our what do we call them now? Honorable mentions.
Yeah, we had a few that we wanted to just quickly highlight, make sure that you check these out. Check all of them out, of course. But we did say we would do some honorable mentions. And
let me quickly
ideas too out there in the chat.
Quickly read a couple of super chats, both from Heidi over on the Familiar Alternative. The first one, $3, writing, "Hello, everyone. Glad to see you all. Thank you very much, my dear Heidi." And another of $5. And writing, "Here's another small amount just for good measure." Thank you so much, Heidi, for that. Please, Jared, continue.
Well, yeah, we said we would give honorable mentions. So Porridge said, why don't we each choose just 3? Him and I each choose 3 and just say a few words about them, just to give you guys another taste of those. Especially some of these will be highlighting some newer names, because as much as we wanted to balance it out, it's still going to happen where someone with a big name is going to get more people going over, generally speaking, people that know them and are familiar with them. So what, Porridge, do you want to start and then go back and forth?
Yeah, I'll give my first one. And I didn't exactly go with the newest people, although I would have liked to. I had to be really honest about things. And for me, what I really like, or what I think is the most effective, is appealing to our fellow man's common sense and the ability to be rational. So the videos that really strike a chord with me are the kind that are directly to the point. Like if I'm going to sit you down for 5 minutes, I'm going to tell you the truth. And I might be a bit biased here because that's how I try to make my own videos, really. But yeah, I love all the creative ways people presented their messages in songs and poems and dramatic compilations, different styles for different people. It was just too hard to choose between them, but I picked those who I thought were really close to how I imagined entries would be. And so my first honorable mention goes to Intellectual Embargo. And he started off the video talking about the Dalai Lama and how he wants his own homeland. That's a very clever way to start. And he's a great content creator. So check out his channel. There's heaps of good content. I think he's a new up-and-comer. He's going to be big. And his entry was fantastic. And that's why he gets my honorable mention.
All right. And I'll start with my one that's the biggest name. By the way, I have to say, I was a big fan of yours, my friend, Runation Media, lovely Porridge. And he did place, I'll just say this, he did place very well. A lot of people liked his video, but I was a big fan of yours. But we're going to do the honorable mentions for different ones. I thought yours was definitely one of the most effective in terms of if it was really going to be put in front of millions of people on jumbotrons and at airports. Yours would be a very strong one. But first, I will mention, as I said, the biggest name of the three that I have as an honorable mention would be Liv from White Date. I thought she did an excellent job, and I liked her intro because it was a compelling intro where she says, imagine yourself at a party having this conversation, and it draws you in, it draws a general audience in a very effective way. And then it acknowledges the taboo of talking about our race in a functional way, but then it hints at that bigger picture. If you want this, and she flashes to all kinds of pictures very quickly of Western architecture and art and the hallmarks of our civilization, the expressions of our biospirit, you need this. And then she cuts to families. She also calls out white families, of course. She calls out manipulations in advertisements in the media, but she does so in a very accessible way. It's not heavy-handed. Of course, her manner of narrating and just how she speaks lends itself to very well to that. And at the end, she does give that sense that things are slipping from our grasp and we are indeed in a crisis. But she outlines why that's worth something, why you should care about that, and how it ultimately is in our hands to turn that around. And it's a pretty short video too, but between her narration, the visuals she chooses, the way she paced it, the point she hit, powerful but not being too heavy-handed, I thought it was a really excellent video.
Yeah, that was fantastic, that one. I really enjoyed that. All right, so my second honorable mention would go to Martin Willett. And this is a guy I've watched for years, and he has a great voice for this, and he has a real skill for explaining things really simply and clearly. That's exactly how I envisioned this competition. And I knew even before he released the video that he'd do a great job because this is his thing. This is where he excels at, and he didn't disappoint by any means. A fantastic video, and that's why he gets my honorable mention.
All right. And I'll go to my second, which is a channel called Going Free. So I imagine that they took that inspiration from our own Jason Kuna here. So that's a nod to you, good sir.
Yes.
But this is called Hope in Desperate Times. And I thought that it had a really good pace. It starts out with laying out how dire things are, not beating around the bush when it comes to that, including increased white suicide rates, cuts quickly to a chart about that, politicians betraying the people they're meant to represent. And then it brings up the paradoxes. Jussie Smollett headline versus a girl named Mackenzie who was murdered in Utah that you probably didn't hear about because, well, the participants aren't balanced the right way. People aren't from the right backgrounds. It goes against the narrative. So he's demonstrating there, again, tenets that he clearly is picking up from Jason's work with hate hoaxes and hush crimes, using media examples that the audience, a general audience, will get. Definitely the Jussie Smollett thing. And again, like Liv's video, it's not too heavy-handed. It's cut to, it's on the screen long enough for you to digest it, you recognize it, but he doesn't belabor the point. He gets in, he gets out, you recognize it. It's going to appeal to people out there that are familiar with the media and how the media works and what's out there, like the Jussie Smollett story there. And then he goes on with some other digestible examples and elucidates that there's not really a paradox here. It's really anti-whiteism. So again, a very clear, clean, crisp digestion of what we've been talking here a lot about. And I'm not assuming we're the only guys he listens to, but again, the fact that he named his channel Going Free, I'm sure that he's listening a lot to Jason and what Jason's doing here. At the end, it turns to a positive note. It's saying that we want people of all backgrounds to take joy and pride in who they are, which is certainly true. And again, puts it on us to take this into our hands, realize what's important, and to take the agency and the power back. So again, a very well thought out video, very effective, doesn't belabor the point. So well done, Going Free.
Yeah, well done. That was a great video. And some of these guys I hadn't heard of before. And suddenly I watch these videos and who are these guys and why have I not heard of them? These are really intelligent people with well thought out ideas, and hopefully they'll continue creating content. But I couldn't possibly not honor this next person, even though it's another big name. And I do really appreciate the smaller names, but I had to give this one to White Art Collective because his video was just so well produced. It presented itself as entertainment, but managed to get across all the information. And it's just altogether like a studio production, the kind of thing you want to see from our guys. I could definitely see it being used in high schools or on TV if we were somehow able to do that. But yeah, if you haven't seen it, go and watch it. It's like a 1950s style PSA, and definitely an honorable mention from me.
Yeah, and then I have my last here, Captain Hornpipe, who placed very well, got a lot of votes. By the way, well over 200 unique people voted. We know that, and we're tabulating how many unique votes there were. But over 200 people voted. That'll be noted in the articles. But this gentleman did well. Captain Hornpipe did our cultural inheritance. So he started with invoking a sense of people, our people in the past, working to create things that they may never live to see. So he invokes this theme of projects and visions that are bigger than one individual. There's definitely a good antidote to a lot of the values, quote unquote values, that we're taught today in the mainstream. He mentions architecture and art, makes references to these, but also custom folklore, dialects, traditions, even our own behaviors, our norms. And anyone familiar with me and what I value, that hit me. I'm very glad that he did that and said it's not just about the high culture, as important as that is, and as much as that's referenced, it's about folk culture as well, custom, all the things that I just said. So I'm very glad that he mixed those two things. I think that's a very important point to make. The things that we take for granted, the things that are comfortable to us, we don't even think about, he points that out. He talks about how our values have changed now in modern times and more recent times, especially to wage slavery, to short-term thinking, selfishness, and the toll that's taken on social trust, the ties that bind a culture, and how that's all disintegrating. So with that as setting the stage with all of that in the background, he then goes on to talk about the necessity of connecting to your area that you live in, and again, your general ethnoculture, all the things I was referencing a moment ago. And that's why he named his video Our Cultural Inheritance. This inheritance has been passed down and worked for until now, like links in a chain. Porridge was talking about the links in a chain before. So he lays that out beautifully and sets it up so that it ends perfectly on saying, well, of course, a natural conclusion is seeing the damage that's been done to that cultural inheritance, seeing the kinks and the cuts in that chain throughout time that's been handed to you. Well, now it's up to us in this generation and the upcoming generations in the immediate future to rehabilitate that and reclaim that. So well done, Captain Hornpipe.
Well done to all the people who got an honourable mention. We really wish we could have given more. And just from you explaining that, I feel like going over to the website and rewatching some of those, because they could really do with a second or third viewing and often sharing as well, of course. And I have to give a shout out too to Jason for his wonderful video and how he really, without many words, revealed how horrible what is being done to us is. It was a literally horror video, quite scary, very emotional, but it got the message across. And yeah, I really appreciate all the promotion you've done and getting us on your streams, and along with your entry and being an early participant, you've been the greatest supporter of this project.
Well, I can't thank you enough for those kind words, my dear friend. I just am honored to be able to be a player in all the things that we're doing here in service to white well-being. If I could, I would like to mention a couple. I mean, I looked at all of these videos. I found them all to be absolutely magnificent. If you participated, I have a big debt of gratitude for you and a big cornucopia of thanks, because this is something that we need to be doing. We need to be making videos. The Great Poseidon talks about getting involved, making your own videos, making your own podcasts, writing your own blogs. So we need to be doing these things. And if you can't do those things, then you can get onto other people's blogs. You can get onto the threads on other people's videos. You can stay within the white positive sphere and go out and bring others who already care about our people into something that is healthy and beneficial and works. All of these people who are coming and sharing their testimony of using the dialectics and the lexicon and winning these conversations, creating converts and running off anti-whites, that doesn't happen elsewhere, anywhere in the white positive sphere, except with an extraordinary rarity that is akin to finding the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. So I thank you to everyone who decided to step up and participate, make a video. I found something valuable in every one of the videos I watched. I was impressed at something in every single video. The winners, of course, were all impressive videos as well. I'll mention, I too, for the reasons you all named, the videos that you gave honorable mentions to, I will absolutely underscore everything that you said, that both of you said there as well. I'll also mention Phoenix Fire's video was really innovative and creative. I liked her approach. I was absolutely floored by Coconut's video. That was amazing, I thought. And it's not just my bias that she's a wonderful lady. She was one of the friends that her and her husband I invited to James Edwards conference, and I met them in person there. But since I met them here first, they're part of this community, I felt like they were old friends, and we hit it off like old friends. Old family that like each other. So, I mean, I was very impressed to see her video. The underscore as well, again, a second underscore on the Going Free Channel's use of the dialectics and the lexicon. That is the kind of thing that we have to be doing. That's what everybody is winning with now. And another person, I guess it was is it Gerhard, the one that you read for?
Stegen, yeah.
Unbelievably, just magnificent application of the kind of things that we talk about here, going free, using the right vocabulary. Ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't yet, if you haven't learned, if you're new to this, if you're brand new, as Jared was saying earlier to somebody who saw in the chat who is brand new, we absolutely throw our arms open to you. This is not one of those parties where you show up and you know the person you came with, and then you end up standing in the corner because you don't know anybody else. If you want to just watch what's going on here, then by all means. If you want to watch for a while before you start participating, by all means. If you want to jump right in and join the conversation in the live chat, in the thread, please do. We're a very welcoming community. We are serving white well-being, and everybody who wants to serve white well-being is welcome here. So if you are new, please, as Porridge was saying, check out some of these videos, or all of these videos, look at the testimony that these folks in this community give when they use this verbiage, when they use this lexicon, when they use these dialectics. Look at the success they're having for the first time in their life, treating themselves, becoming healthier as a consequence. You have to become healthy psychologically before you can become healthy physically and spiritually. So treating themselves for what we refer to as MPs, mean pathogens, and then going out to their friends and family, having those conversations with them for the first time, breaking ice, thawing this anti-white, white noir that they're suffering with, and making a change in people's lives that they care about. And in some cases, this is not necessarily the goal of this, but winning those arguments with those anti-white bastards that used to always humiliate and defeat them time and again, whether it was at school, whether it was just in the circles of friends or wherever it may have been, around the dinner table with family members, and always losing those conversations and feeling like you are the bad guy somehow, even though you know that you're not the bad guy. So how is it you're walking away from the conversation feeling like you should be laden with shame, and the anti-white smugly sitting at the table or wherever it might be, at the desk at the office, smugly sitting there as though they are somehow virtuous? Now, using this verbiage, the tables are turned. The anti-white is the one who is having to defend an aggressive, immoral position, and you end up being the victorious one. So if you're new, don't wait. Don't wait. Now's the time to jump in, learn what we're doing here, become a part of this great, successful community that has demonstrated, as it continues to rapidly grow, that it can come together like the mini threads in those Kevlar vests that stop bullets. These will stop the anti-white bullets. This community will stop the anti-white bullets that are fired at you, that are fired at your children, that are fired at your wife, at your husband, at your boyfriend, girlfriend, children, whatever it may be. Every single day, every single place they go, from every media of communication, this will save us. This is saving us. Jump right in, become a part of this. This is a great example. You have people coming away from this with great winnings. You have people coming away from this feeling that they were a part of something that has never been done before, because it has, as Porridge was pointing out, never been done in any significant way before. Nothing like this. Yet again, another proof. And we're about to have another proof come out with the magazine again. Another proof of the kind of success and successes we will continue to see in the future. The day will come. Yes, we're starting here today, where the day comes and I have a little plastic award here, and we're just on the internet, and nobody's in real person. But rest assured, we're going to continue growing, and the day is going to come when we have people serving white well-being on every continent, watching live broadcast on 30 different platforms across the internet, where there will be a live audience, where there will be a stage and lights, and people who can make it to the event will be handed actual awards. That is in our future, ladies and gentlemen. So a big thank you to these guys. A big thank you to everyone who produced a video. And I am absolutely humbled, and I'm so proud of you all. And let me read, we have some super chat. We have Elaine Sabatino sent $5 with a little Fox sticker. Still trying to figure out whether or not that $5 is to Google for the Fox sticker, or whether it functions as a super chat. We'll find out one way or another. But we did have Laurel also super chat $30 over on Google, and writing here, thank you, Jared and Porridge, for your hard work. Jason, for your dedicated support. Creators, for the magnificent content. Prize money donors, for your generosity. In our community, for the love. I adore you all. Well, God bless you, Laurel. You are an amazing participant in this community. We all know you well, doing double duty, triple duty, because you're working on things in the background as well as modding. So thank you so much for that kind super chat and those beautiful words. And I will pass it back to my brothers here for what we have left here before wrapping up the show.
Well, what Jason was referring to is called Vol Hollywood. We're going to make our own Hollywood. Vol Hollywood is on its way, folks.
Indeed.
We'll all give each other awards like they do and tell each other why we're all great, but it'll actually mean something. That's the difference.
Right.
We're wrapping up. Yep. Please, when we're wrapped up here, Oliver, one of our participants, Semi-Agog, made a great video pointing out the crucial difference between civil law and martial law, and some things we've forgotten in our state structures in the West. Very interesting video that he did. Always an interesting guy. but please support him and go check out his AMA. After this, I put the link in the chat. And you know what? I'm going to read the winners one more time just because people are getting here late. So real quick, we had in 5th place, Daughter of Albion with her video, Which Way White Man. 4th place was Way of the World, How the West Ends. 3rd place, Mimir's Bruner, Come Home. 2nd place, he's in the audience tonight. He's in the chat, Poseidon, Last Message to the West. And 1st place, Asha Logos, A Last Message to the West, ? That was the name of his video. Asha Logos in 1st place, but we did review some honorable mentions. So if you didn't listen live, please do go back and listen in the replay. Again, this whole experience will be commemorated in an article I'm writing for the White People's Quarterly, the fall-winter issue, which will be out soon. They're about to go to press, but I'm just getting Tony Vermont, the editor, these names now because this is all fresh information. Porridge and I just learned this yesterday, who these winners were. And the website, lastmessagetothewest.com, is the library where all of these videos will live. Lord of the Frogs designed it for us and put in some great work. He was also the first donor. And all the winners will be commemorated. All the donors will be commemorated. All the participants who made a video, all 29, will be commemorated with certificates and things to acknowledge them on that site. So please do go use it and share videos you think would be effective with your friends and family. And continue to watch us on the afterparty.tv. Remember, YouTube might be going away in December. Even if it doesn't, it's wisest to start watching the streams embedded on Entropy on our site, theafterparty.tv, and definitely get on our mailing list, our newsletter. You'll see the links in under the little hamburger menu on the top left. Open that up and see all of our old shows. So much material there. We're still adding old stuff, all of our old stuff. Well, everything's going to be there eventually. I'll just say that. But go sign up to our newsletter. And Porridge, what do you have for us at the end of this evening, sir?
Well, once this is all done, yes, go over and watch Oliver, one of our participants. In his video, he said, "My name's Oliver Perrin, and I'm here to tell you that we are at war." What a great way to start the video. Really pulls people in. And I noticed with a lot of these people, their videos, like No White Guilt said, Gerard Testig, and I listened to that and I thought, well, this guy is well educated in the school of going free. He definitely had been taught by Jason, and I found that with a lot of videos too. Look, I could go on about these videos all day, but we have to wrap it up. So I'll end by saying what a remarkable help it was to have Jared with me through this. He spent countless hours making all this work, and we're in different time zones, so it wasn't always easy. But without Jared, this would have barely gotten off the ground. And of course, Jason, too, you helped tremendously to get the word out. So I thank you both very much for that. And of course, we've already mentioned how much we appreciate the participants and all the donors. But to round it up, I would say that the important lesson to take from all this is that there isn't just one style of message that is most effective. If we're going to reach out to our friends and families, there is no single talking point or video that will work 100% of the time. And I think Last Message to the West really demonstrated how varied our community is and how we all approach things differently. And I think that's really essential in making our movement progress. This competition has resulted in a range of really effective videos, and so now you can just go through them and find the ones that you think will appeal to the people you want to appeal to, and then go and wake them up. But even if we didn't produce the ultimate video, the one video that was going to work, what I've seen is a lot of different people all working together, all pushing in the same direction. And that's probably the most important thing, that we can unite as a group, as a community, and work towards a common goal. That's what I saw happening over these last few months, and it's been really encouraging. So, of course, this wasn't our last message to the West. We're going to grow and grow, and our message will become more effective and will become unbeatable. So I think this was a great display of our community's talents. Those videos demonstrate how smart and creative we all are, and most importantly, it shows our strength as a community to do something together. So much love and appreciation to everybody who was involved.
Well, right back at you. And I will say you ended your newest promo video. Again, Porridge here did all the wonderful promo videos, and those are on the About page of the site as well. The newest one has to be added to the About page, to lastmessagetothewest.com. But he did a very short video, just over a minute, as a little teaser to tonight and getting people excited as a wrap-up and encapsulating what this meant. And you say at the end that, as you were just indicating, it's not a last message, but it is really more of a new beginning. You didn't quite put it that way, but it was to that effect. So, Jason, I'm wondering if maybe we can make this a sandwich, and can we end the stream the way we began it with Porridge's video, his latest video?
We probably can. Let me just let me see if I can
do it live. Can we do it live?
We probably can.
We're gonna get used to this for those Vol Hollywood Awards eventually.
And we can wrap it up that way. And let me see, make sure we.
It might have been a little over dramatic, but it was the spirit I was feeling at the time.
No, I loved it.
Yeah, I thought it was magnificently done. Let me let me get the final super chats. I distributed the chest on D Live so that everybody could get their Lino points. We have over here on Cash App, Snow Duchess super chatting $30, and I thank you so much, my dear lady, and writing for the great contest. Congrats to all. Well, thank you so much for that. And back at you for being a wonderful participant in this community. And over here on Entropy, we have a Cardiff super chatting $25. Thank you, my dear friend, writing, ladies and gentlemen, all of your work on this video project is fantastic. From the great video creators, the hosts of the project, and all the behind the scenes workers. Hats off and cheers. Well, I absolutely underscore that, my dear friend. From
one quick thing before I forget, everyone listening, please, this week, as we're approaching this December 10th date, and no one knows what's going to happen, maybe it'll be nothing, maybe we're all going to lose our channels, maybe something in between, but this whole anticipation about December 10th, use it as a way to promote lastmessagetothewest.com. You know, there was an eerie similarity between, as I talked about at the beginning, Porridge mentioned this to me a few weeks in May, a few weeks before the Vox Adpocalypse on June 5th, which my own original channel on YouTube, The Great Order, was one of the casualties. Then when we try to roll out the videos and premiere them on YouTube, the first day into it, the Kindred Creators channel that we created just for this contest was nuked by YouTube in late October, the day after Red Ice. So there's this weird symmetry of, you know, Porridge's idea of being the last message to the West before he got censored. They were proving our point for us. So while we don't hope for the worst, we don't know what's going to happen with YouTube on December 10th. Everyone's going to be talking about this, anticipating it for the next week. We'll use it. Use the fact that there's buzz about this and say, this is what this contest was about. Did you hear about this contest? No, go check this out. Go to lastmessagetothewest.com. These are some of my favorite videos. Share these videos. If this is in the news right now, this is what's on people's minds right now. It's a perfect way this week. We need to all be doing this. Promote Last Message to the West with this whole December 10th hammer about to fall down.
Very well said, my good friend. And so I will say, as I prep this, that I also want to mention big thank you to everybody who donated Lino points over on D Live tonight. Thank you all. And I think it was Apex writing stop anti-white on white crime. Thank you so much. And then after I distributed the Lino points, people like our great Seaver Hamlin here, donating them right back. Thank you very much, my dear friend. Well, my thanks goes out to every single person who played a role in this. My deep, heartfelt thanks goes out to every single one of you, from the genesis in the heart and brain and spirit of Porridge here, to the nexus and connection to the great Jared George and the work that they did, all the way down to the final moments of this contest, where we had the stupendous Roy Danton come in with a final investment in those who produce these videos. a giant heartfelt thanks to every single one of you. I love you all, and we will be talking again very soon.
Devastating and compelling.
Only get a case of the for reals.
They see homogenous white communities as something horrible.
I'm here to tell you that we are at war.
They bring about white erasure, writing us out of our history.
Long-term happiness is sustained by the thoughts and the actions of the people we are surrounded by.
There were 1,000 generations of people who refused to give up.
What if all people deserve to feel the right to love and respect?
A nation is actually a group of people.
Wake up. You've been asleep too long. Help them see the reality. Talk about these matters.
We speak of vanishing cultures, as if such vanishing were a natural process.
If you want this, you need to make this.